Hello everyone, my name is Solus Convoy, and today we're going to be taking a look at Newage H60W, the Mimic. So here he is, and here is the box. Let's start off with the box. So there's an art of him right here, it looks pretty good. Art of the guy he comes with, very simple box. Other guy, him, and of course he's on the back because he's the main attraction, and the other guy. So onto the figure himself. This is a rendition of the character Wasp from the Transformers show, Transformers Animated from 2007. He looks pretty great here. Right off the bat, what draws you to it is this head sculpt. It's wonderfully cartoon accurate. The sculpt is fantastic. The paintwork at this size is great. You can see my flaky, ashy fingers in comparison for scale. So, I mean, just great paintwork, and I'm surprised by how well this works, right? This mold, the shoulder wheels, the shape of the feet, the fact that you can, like, mistransform this guy to give him wheel feet, all of it is super reminiscent of the animated design. So I'm actually really shocked by how well this worked. I didn't think it would pull off that well. One complaint, though, these are symmetrical when he should only have it on one side, but not the biggest issue. I think I have to check in alt mode and see if those panels are visible, so that may be part of the reason why. But yeah, I mean, just looks really good. I love these green accents as well on the thighs. Those are great. And these faux window paints to represent the chest hood, the chest roof of the original animated Bumblebee design, which Wasp shared a body type with. So it's just, it works really well because that wasn't a super pronounced chest bump like Sunbow. So this flat texture feels fitting almost. So he looks really good, actually. I love this gold right here. It shows up at the grill of the car, and then this green plastic, which I think is only used for the biceps, and right here. So great color breakup, great color distribution. Aesthetically, this is one of Newage's prettiest figures. It's up there with Umibozu as those crazy New Age retools that work really well. Speaking of, however, moving on to articulation. So you've got a ball jointed head, but interestingly enough, because of the way it's sculpted, there's no side to side, which is a bit strange, but it is a usual classic legend scale ball joint head. So you get the full range up and, you know, the 360 swivel, right? So classic ball joint head. You have a hinge here, which you can use to raise up, and then you can also raise the shoulders up, but you're going to clash if you try to do that here. But you can still get up that far. You can also get up like this, so you have a lot of options. You have a bicep swivel and a 90-degree elbow, which is basically at 87 degrees, I think. And sadly, no wrist swivel due to the transformation, and no up or down either. So a bit disappointing for the arms, at least the lower arms. The upper arms are great. You have a 90-degree unhindered ab crunch, which is fantastic at this size. You have an unhindered waist swivel, which is nice and tight. You have ball jointed hips that kick out all the way, right? And they also go back before they get impeded by something. I think it's a sculpt, but they don't go all the way back. And they also go out to the side at 90 degrees. Knees go to 90, and then the ankles are a bit weird. There's like a ball joint inside, and it lets you get a rather nice tilt. And because these are big feet, you know, they have a really big base, so it's really easy to get a lot of poses out of these. But it does kind of break the sculpt. And also, because of the sculpt, you can also kind of like, you can try to go forward, but it starts to like, it's kind of more like splitting the leg, so it's not really like you're going forward, it's more like you're mistransforming him. But you can also try to go, like, you can give it like a bit of a downwards tilt, which is awesome. But again, a lot of it is just like strategically mistransforming this leg section, right? So it's not really like dedicated articulation. But you can definitely get a lot of range out of that lower leg design. Accessories, the Mimic only has one accessory, which is his really well painted stinger. It's not like a half stinger that claps together with the other one to make a full stinger like in the show. But it is a one-sided stinger. It comes with a cover and a peg, so it looks like it's integrated when you put it in. So it does look pretty good, right? It does look like it's part of his arm. But I do wish there maybe had been like two, so it could be symmetrical, so he could have something for his other hand, or if they'd done like the whole half and clap together, so he could combine them, to form one blaster, like Bumblebee does in the show. But I don't think he has the articulation. Well, actually, oh no, actually, yeah. So the ball joint design lets you get a lot of inward range, actually, which is awesome. So yeah, he could have totally actually had two and collapsed into one. Wow, I'd never actually tested that range before, but damn, that's kind of awesome. So he looks great. I'm a big fan of this guy. Really, like on this figure himself, in a vacuum, I have almost zero criticisms except the wrist swivel and the elbows being limited, but both of those are design constraints at the size. So those aren't huge criticisms. They're just like minor deductions to be like, okay, like that lower forearm section with like the huge, like this cross design where it all folds over could have been handled better. I think this is the weakest section of the bot mode, is right here. But other than that, man, I don't have any criticisms for this bot mode. It looks fantastic and it feels fantastic despite being small. He's not fiddly, and despite being highly articulated, he feels robust. Tolerances are great. Let me bring in some size comparisons. So here he is next to my previous review, which is Newage Manowar. So you can see he's even shorter than Manowar, which is interesting because he's infinitely more complex. So it is kind of interesting when you go to transform him. And then here's both of them next to Hasbro's Legion class Dark of the Moon Flak. So you can really see the changes over the last decade, right, from official to third party in the Legends class game. I mean, if you told me, who was like collecting these as a kid back in 2012 when I was like 11, that we were getting stuff like this nowadays, I would have said you were insane and that hybrid style was a mistake. I was not a smart kid. But, let me actually keep that guy here. The zoom out. Oops. And then focus. There we go. And then here we have it with a topical figure. So let me just rearrange the order of figures here so you get a better look. So here he is with Newage's Bulkhead, right? Their only other, I believe, animated homage to this point. And then for a big one, here he is with one of my only remaining Legacy Deluxes, the G2 Trooper. And yeah, as you can see, the size we're dealing with, he doesn't fit in the frame. So yeah, very tiny toy. I'm going to get him transformed and we'll do an alt mode size comparison and then take a look at our final thoughts. So here we have our alt mode size comparison, and let me get Flak and Sea Spray. Let me just get Flak out of the way. Compared to Sea Spray, Manowar, Sea Spray, whatever, about the same size in alt mode, but Sea Spray has a lot more mass. Really, because Sea Spray's transformation feels so like, where things go. It's visibly apparent where stuff ends up. So there's giant chunks of the alt mode that correspond to giant chunks of the robot mode. But for this guy, not so much, right? Here he is compared to Bulkhead. So I think the two of them look great together. I would love to see more animated from Newage. They could have even included more animated in this pack, actually, which I'll touch more on later. But yeah, I love Bulkhead and I love this guy. I look forward to a review for this guy. But let me just zoom in on Wasp himself. And I guess one of the things I have to say about this guy really that really just, it's kind of insane, man. Like, there's a lot of hinges on this thing, or a lot of visible hinges and seams and stuff, and they're not as visible in real life. I put that in quotation marks because they are kind of visible. They show up on camera, they show up to my eyes, so there are a lot of hinges. It's not the cleanest alt mode ever. It's very obvious this transforms, but the way it transforms and the way it rearranges its mass is just really crazy to see. And I know that's because of the tuned wind charger design being the tuned wind charger design, but my God, I mean, this is quite crazy, especially at this size. The transformation is very involved, which is a stark opposite from Sea Spray, their simplest figure. This is by far the most complex mini bodies, even more complex than someone like Power Glide, I think. But he's really intuitive in his own way, and once you figure out the tricks of the transformation, it's really fun to do. It's just depends on how much tolerance you have for something being, you know, this complex at this small of a scale. He rolls fine, and he has perfect clearance, and even the alt mode from underneath doesn't look too bad. So I mean, it's not the best alt mode ever, but it's also not like the worst. It's just insane that it does it in the way that it does it. The transformation is just simply something to behold, in my opinion, at the size, but it can definitely be a bit too complex for some. But that's going to bring us into the final thoughts of this video. And really, like, you know, I love these animated homages, but this came in a 2-pack, and instead of coming with like Nightcrawler, which is a homage to a one comic cameo panel that an SG Windcharger appeared in, which is just a boring straight repaint of Windcharger, we could have included animated Bumblebee using this same deco layout and another additional head sculpt, you know. We could have included more accessories. We could have included a better alternate deco, maybe like, I don't know, a more accurate Brazilian Windcharger deco to like the Mysterians, instead of just being like really half-baked SG. You know, or this could have just not been a 2-pack. I think that's like the biggest thing I have to say for this thing is it could have not been a 2-pack, and then I would recommend it to everyone watching my channel. As it stands, I'm not going to recommend this. It's $55 for a Wasp that's 2 inches tall. Am I insane? No, it's not good value no matter how you think of it. Even if you're made of money, it's just not good value. For that same price, you can buy a Newage Bulkhead, which is twice the figure, more posable, obviously more fun and smooth transformation because it's bigger and more fun to play with. I mean, it's not even like an easy comparison to their own catalog of the value when you're just buying it for Wasp, and they know you're buying it for Wasp. The entire package is Wasp. I mean, the back spread is Wasp. They didn't even bother taking a cinematic photo for SG Windcharger because they know no one gives a shit. They just tossed in a half-ass repaint to justify, you know, boosting the price instead of releasing this as a single. I mean, you could have just made it a single, couldn't you? You could have just sold this for $35 and people would have scoffed that it's a bit overpriced for what it is, but everyone would have bought it anyways. But instead, you include a worthless whatever in the pack, and someone like me who thinks that this Wasp is one of their favorite figures from Newage and is one of their favorite figures of the year and loves it, barely ends up buying it simply because someone promises to take the other thing off their hands in a trade. It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. It needs to stop. It's unsustainable garbage to keep putting out these 2-packs, pack after pack after pack. Like, if you included animated Bumblebee and it was a Bumblebee versus Wasp pack, I would have been over the moon, right? Because you could have easily done that. But no, you went like the simplest route, which is making a straight repaint. It's aggravating, you know, like as a set, this is like a D tier release. And as an individual figure, Wasp is like A plus S tier almost. Like, he's really good. But as a set, this sucks ass. Right? I mean, this is dookie. Like, I was physically wincing paying for this set, even though I knew someone was taking that thing off my hands. I wasn't getting money back. I was getting a trade for it, and like, yeah, I got stuff out of that trade, and I can cope and be like, oh well, you know, I only paid $30 for Wasp because I got $25 worth of stuff in the trade. So, you know, I came out a winner. But in reality, it's like the bullshit hassle of having to split up my own toys and like do all this garbage every single release for the past 6 months is just like so mentally taxing as a collector. I just want to be able to get the thing I want without having to split it with someone else and worry about shipping something to someone else and whether or not they still want to do it when the time comes around, or all. It's just not fun. You know, like I love Huffer and Pipes and Road Ranger and Puffer, but I'm absolutely not getting 2 copies of any of that mold, right? I already have someone sending me their Huffer because they want Pipes, and I'm not getting a repaint. I'm not. Like, I was planning to, but I'm just not going to because I can't stand it anymore. It's just really annoying, and it is speed running me, like my opinion of Newage down the drain, because it's just constant periphery garbage ruining otherwise good releases. I don't have to worry about accessory count or how I can get a toy or whatever when I'm getting expensive third-party Legends class figure. It's like the type of bullshit that like I have to deal with, like Hasbro, oh, Reactivate Prime is in a 2-pack and nobody wants a Soundwave, so like you pretty much pay $60 for Prime by himself. That's the same thing that's happening here, but in third party, I expect a little bit more consumer-friendly practices and like a billion-dollar corporation that doesn't really care about consumer satisfaction because they sell retail product, not like a niche hobby boutique brand selling niche hobby toys to collectors that are intended to have the maximum possible experience. Are you serious? You're charging a premium and you're delivering like retail toy business practices? 2-packs in third party? Like, are you like, it was okay for like when there was 2 Toon guys in 1 pack and then the repaints were predicated off that. And like the same thing is happening here. Yeah, sure, but you've done the past 6 releases in a row and the 2-packs don't even make sense anymore. Like at least you can reliably split the Sea Spray and the Tremors 2-pack because the tuners want Sea Spray and then everyone else wants Manowar. But on this one, you can't do that because nobody wants SG Windcharger. Like, nobody wants him. I gave it to the one guy who owns 2 because he's the only person who likes it. I mean, nobody wants Nightcrawler. It's just such a joke, man. Like, at least make something good. If it'd been animated Bumblebee, I would have shut up and I would have eaten my slop without a single complaint. I would have thanked the chef. But like, this is a scam. It's annoying. It's not fun. I shouldn't be worried about splitting packs, man. Like, I sound like a rant, but like it is a rant because like you make a really good toy and then make it really annoying to get a copy of. I don't understand. I have a friend who really wants this and is not getting one because he doesn't want to spend $55 on the toy he already feels bad paying $30 for, much less $55, right? And you can say, but there's a second toy. I don't care about the second toy, therefore I'm paying for 1 toy. Anyways, this kind of overshadowed the entire final thoughts, but the 2-packs suck. Newage, you need to stop. Like, seriously, you need to stop. You need to release like actually good stuff in between without all this garbage going around. Maybe lower the prices on the 2-packs to make them seem like more of a bargain. So they're actually like a deal because you're sending me 2 units. I'm buying 2 units non-consensually instead of just buying the 1 unit I want. So at least give me a deal on it or something. This is insane. But yeah, the actual toy is great. If you have an opportunity to get one of these and you actually like the repaint that's included, 100% buy it. If you are comfortable taking the L on the repaint to have an animated toy in your collection because animated never gets third-party love, and then do it. If you just really like Wasp, then do it. I think he's one of the only cases where it's like, damn, I can take the $25 to $30 L on an extra toy I don't want. And if you have a chance to split it, again, I cannot recommend this enough, right? Like, my final verdict is that if you can get Wasp by himself for a reasonable price, you would be doing a disservice to yourself and like the entire fandom if you don't get it. This is an insane toy. I think it's an insane pull. It is insanely fun. It is insanely cool. It looks insanely good. Like, this is seriously one of my favorite New Age releases of all time, and it is embroiled in this 2-pack bullshit. But yeah, go get your copy at PACKZZZ store if you want to go suffer through getting rid of Nightcrawler, or if you actually by some miracle like Nightcrawler. I link in the description to the video, PACKZZZ store. That's where I got mine, you know, wallop of a price tag for sure. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Mega rant here, but you know, that's how I do it. 8 minutes of review and then 8 minutes of yapping about shitty third-party business practices. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later. Soulless Convoy. Peace.